An historic pay rise of 5.75 on Friday has small businesses worried that they might have to cut staff in order to afford wages. This comes ahead of a likely interest rate rise this afternoon, set to heap even more pressure on business owners, although about 1/3 of economists predict that they will jack those rates up today. Regardless, joining us live now, Managing Director of Suki Hairdressers, Sandy Chong. Sandy, good to see you. Thanks for your time this morning. So let's just start with the RBA. Potentially a 12th rate rise coming today. How would that sit with you?
Well, I think that, we need to really consider, we often talk about, when we look at how any of these rises will affect our economy and certainly our communities. But I think often we forget about small businesses and the fact that they are really wearing a lot of costs at the moment. They're really feeling the pressure.
So how would you deal with a rate rise today? And if one doesn't come today, then economists seem quite certain that there will be at least one or two that comes at some point this year. So how would you have to deal or negotiate those rate rises?
So rate rises as in interest rate rises.
Yeah.
I'm someone who's been in business for 38 years and I'm probably one of the lucky ones who have actually paid off my house. But I look at my own daughter who is 32. I can't remember if she's 32 or 33. That's pretty bad, isn't it? Now, she has 3 children. She's just bought a house last year and she's had 11 rate rises in that time frame. And so, we look at her and she's lucky enough that she's got parents that try and help her out as much as possible. But I look at my own staff and every one of them would actually have a home loan as well. And so, I watch the fact that they're also feeling the pressure. As for business people, we've got to think about their loans. They all own houses. As I said, I'm lucky, I'm older, so I do own my house. But then you look at all the young people in business as well that are struggling running a business, as well as, having to accommodate with, I think we've had 11 rate rises so far, and we're now talking about 12.
Yeah, I mean, and the rate rises are coming because inflation remains stubbornly high, and you don't even need to be a business owner to have to deal with that. It's just right across the board. So even as a business owner, even though you've paid off your own home, I mean, how much is inflation affecting you? How much have costs gone up for things that you have to buy?
Oh, totally. I mean, whether it's living at home and taking care of my daughter, her 3 children, and her husband has a business as well. But, when I look at my own business and the increase of all my KPIs, so whether it's wages, which of course is a huge increase that we have to accommodate, but we look at energy, supply costs, rent as well. I'm also my own landlord, but I'm only my own landlord mainly because of how much rent cost me in the past and how difficult it was to actually lease premises.
So that rate, so the decision at the moment, both at national and state levels, to increase minimum wage, I mean, can you afford that?
In 38 years, our wage KPI has gone up from 38% to between 50 and 60%. And that's a massive hike if you look at small business. So in 38 years, I've been able to watch the changes when it comes to, these IR reforms as well as the increase in the wages. Now, I can fully understand that, for our very low income community, that they do need this wage rise. But when I think about small business, I think the one thing the ACTU really doesn't consider is that small businesses are actually people as well. Okay, so we're not just bricks and mortar. And in fact, I was out at dinner last night and in a restaurant on the Central Coast, and it was right on the waterfront. It was a lovely restaurant, food was excellent. But my girlfriend and I were the only patrons for the night. Now, my bill at the end of the night was $119. They had 3 staff on, and there's no way that they would cover their costs. So I look at that business and the fact that there's a 5.75 rise plus the superannuation rise as well, and how much that business will struggle. They're in a prime position and had 2 patrons all night. Now, that's the reality of small business as well. I look at my own business. I've got casuals and, that's a concern, how much they cost me. And I look at my business as well. The majority of my staff are senior stylists. So they're paid above award. They're also paid a commission structure. And really, in a skill shortage, like our industry has had a skill shortage now for over 20 years. So in a skill shortage, I guess the better businesses are forced to pay higher, but I look at the younger businesses that are paying the award wage, and this hike is quite substantial. I look at the business that I was in last night, and it's like, how can they afford this wage rise?
Sandy Chong, appreciate your time this morning. Thank you so much.